Guys, I hope you're well. This week we're going to review a story that we've already read called The Sign Maker's Assistant in the Big Black Book. We've already read it in class, but this will be some extra practice. I sent a copy of the story as well, so you can either read along with me or read it after for practice. There's some questions in the orange write-in reader about the story that you can answer once you're done listening or reading the story. The Sign Maker's Assistant by Ted Arnold. So this story is a humorous fiction. That means that it's made up, the characters in the story are not real, and it's humorous, which means that the author wrote the story to make the reader laugh. You're going to look for pictures, signs, and words that will make the story seem a little bit funny. Everyone in town agreed. The old sign maker did the finest work for miles around. Under his brush, ordinary letters became beautiful words. Words of wisdom, words of warning, or words that simply said which door to use. When he painted stop, people stopped because the sign looked so important. When he painted please keep off the grass, they kept off because the sign was polite and sensible. When he painted good food, they just naturally became hungry. People thanked the sign maker and paid him well. But the kind old man never failed to say, I couldn't have done it without Norman's help. So why do the townspeople follow the signs? Maybe it's because they trust the sign maker. They know that he's done really good work in the past, and they trust that he is going to make the right signs. And I know that the sign maker is a kind man because when people thank him, he gives a lot of the credit to Norman. He credits the fact that he couldn't have done his own work if it hadn't have been for Norman. Norman was the sign maker's assistant. Each day after school he cut wood, mixed colors, and painted simple signs. Soon I will have a shop of my own, said Norman. Perhaps, answered the sign maker, but not before you clean these brushes. One day after his work was done, Norman stood at the window over the sign shop and watched people. They stopped at the stop sign. They entered at the enter sign. They ate under the good food sign. They do whatever the signs say, said Norman to himself. I wonder. He crept into the shop while the sign maker napped. With brush and board, he painted a sign of his own. I'm thinking that Norman's going to do something not so good because it says he crept. So to me, crept is a word like he's sneaking around. He's making sure that nobody hears or sees him do something. Early the next morning, he put up the sign, then ran back to the window to watch. No school, muttered the principal. How could I forget such a thing? No one informed me, said the teacher. Hooray, cheered the children, and everyone went home. This is great, cried Norman. He looked around the town for another idea. Oh, he said at last, there is something I have always wanted to do. So why do you think the townspeople believe that there's no school? Why would they be tricked into thinking that? The following day, Norman jumped from the top of the fountain in the park. As he swam, he thought to himself, I can do lots of things with signs. Ideas filled his head. That afternoon, when Norman went to work, the sign maker said, I must drive to the next town and paint a large sign on a storefront. I'll return tomorrow evening, so please lock up the shop tonight. As soon as the sign maker was gone, Norman started making signs. He painted for hours and hours and hours. So, based on the signs that Norman has already made, what kind of signs do you think Norman's going to make now that the sign maker is gone Do you think they're going to be good instructive signs, or are they going to be silly signs, kind of like the one right here where it says that it's open for swimming at the local fountain? In the morning, people discovered some new signs all around town. So if you look closely at the pictures on this page, you see signs like stop, ants crossing, or grocery market covered up with a sign that says garbage dump. So how are the people in the town responding to these signs? Are they following the orders, or are they just going past the signs? Well, I can see that in the pictures, they're following the orders. They're dropping their garbage off. They're stopping in the road for ants that are crossing. Norman watched it all and laughed until tears came to his eyes. But soon he saw people becoming angry. "The sign maker is playing tricks," they shouted. "He's made fools of us." The teacher tore down the "No School Today" sign. Suddenly people were tearing down all the signs, not just the new ones, but every sign the sign maker had ever painted. So the townspeople are mad now. They're angry, and they're tearing down all of the signs. Not just the signs that Norman made, but they're the signs that the sign maker made. So the stop signs, the warning signs, the signs to get into places. They're tearing down every sign, street signs, that the sign maker made to keep the town safe. Then the real trouble started. Without store signs, shoppers became confused. Without stop signs, drivers didn't know when to stop. Without street signs, firemen became lost. In the evening, when the sign maker returned from his work in the next town, he knew nothing of Norman's tricks. An angry crowd of people met him at the back door of his shop and chased him into the woods. So why are the townspeople chasing the sign maker? Maybe it's because in the story we know that the sign maker was away, but the people in the town don't know that. So they think that the sign maker has done all of these bad things. As Norman watched, he suddenly realized that without signs and without the sign maker, the town was in danger. "It's all my fault," cried Norman, but no one was listening. So Norman is starting to feel really bad. He didn't want that to happen to the sign maker. He was just kind of wanting to do something funny. So he's feeling pretty guilty right now. Late that night, the sign maker returned and saw a light on in his shop. Norman was feverishly painting. While the town slept and the sign maker watched, Norman put up stop signs, shop signs, street signs, danger signs, and welcome signs. In and out signs, large and small signs, new and beautiful signs. He returned all his presents and cleared away the garbage at the grocery store. It was morning when he finished putting up his last sign for the entire town to see. So Norman has realized that he's done something very bad. So he has worked all night to put back those really important signs up. And his most important sign that he made is hanging right here, and it says, "Don't blame the sign maker. I tricked you, and I am sorry, Norman." So he's telling the town that he's sorry, telling the sign maker that he's sorry. He wants everybody to know that it was him. Then Norman packed his things and locked up the shop, but as he turned to go, he discovered the sign maker, and all the townspeople gathered at the door. "I know you're angry with me for what I did," said Norman with downcast eyes, "so I'm leaving." "Oh, we were angry, all right," answered the school principal, But we were also fools for obeying such signs without thinking. So the townspeople learn by the end of the story that it's a little bit silly for them to follow all the signs without thinking first. They probably should have asked some questions when they saw those signs being placed up around the town. "You told us you are sorry," said the sign maker, "and you fixed your mistakes. So stay and work hard. One day this shop may be yours." "Perhaps," answered Norman, hugging the old man, "but not before I finish cleaning those brushes." So I think by Norman saying that last line, "but not before I finish cleaning those brushes," I think that's Norman's way of saying, I would like a fresh start. I'd like to start over. I'd like to prove to you that I can do what is right and I can do my job the right way. And then maybe as I get older, I will have earned back that right to take over the shop for you. So that's the end of the story. I'd like you to read your version of the story as many times as you want. There are questions in your write-in reader to fill out based on this story. I know you've already read it, so you guys are kind of the experts at this story already, and I will have another story for you next week. Bye.